everyone. Have you ever asked yourself, is there any other options for my bipod? And not mounting options. We all know there's tons of those. As far as the feet. Now, the rubber feet on most bipods, pretty much, 80–90% of them come with the little rubber feet. They're adequate. It's kind of a universal fit-all type of situation. If you were to set your rifle on a piece of glass and look up at it, you will see that the contact point is actually very small considering the diameter of the feet. Now there are bipods out there that you can order with different feet, or you can get different feet for. Most of those are rather expensive, and even one or two you might have to take out a small loan, unless you've got like a government contract or a government budget, you can order stuff like that for. So anyway, is there an option for the standard bipod? Well, the answer to that is yes. Introducing the new SnapFoot Quick Change Modular Bipod Kit. I know, that's a mouthful, from KNS Precision. This thing is really cool. And that's what we're going to take a look at today. We've got a lot to go through. So let's get started. Okay, let's take a look at it. You got your leg adapters and 3 sets of feet. Well, I'll go over those in a minute. The SnapFoot for the Harris bipod. Now, real quick, at this point, I'm going to say for you folks out there that have the Harris, quote, style bipod, do not click off the video right now. I am going to touch on something here in a couple of minutes that you're going to find very interesting. So, keep watching, even if you don't have a, quote, Harris bipod. So, alright, so you have your, let's see, posable foot. Wonder what, I was going to make a kung fu grip joke, but yeah, most of you won't know what I'm talking about. Your rubber foot adapter, so you will be able to maintain those little rubber feet. And then you have the claw foot with spike. These are really gnarly. So let's open up and take a look at it. Kind of doing things a little different today, so we'll get this, get the package out of here. Okay, here's your adapters. Now these fit on the bottom of your bipod, replacing the feet. And then you have your posable ones, which give you more surface contact on a flat surface, like your shooting bench, roof of a car, what have you. And then these, again, you will put your rubber foot on these so you can still use those. And then you have the claw foot. These are really gnarly. Spike. These are for like dirt, sand. You could dig these into like a wood pile, a piece of wood, fallen tree out in the woods if you're hunting. Anyway, so a majority of these pieces, the adapters and the posables, the rubber foot adapters, and the centerpieces of the claw foot are machined from high-grade aircraft aluminum. Then the basket or claw on the claw foot is a hardened heat-treated steel. I don't have the exact, I guess the exact steel it is at the moment. So, but it is a hardened heat-treated steel, equal to like tool steel. So, very hard. So, nice little kit. Comes with your instructions. Little sticker for your gun case or safe. And then 2 extra O-rings and 4 roll pins. And we're going to do the installation. Now, I'm here in a few. Now, being the term SnapFoot, give you an idea what these do. You put this, you take your rubber feet off, and you will install this on the leg of your bipod. And I'll go over that in a minute. Then, on the bottom side, there's a little O-ring in there, and that's what retains the feet. There's also 2 little notches here because it will need, on the rubber foot adapter and the claw foot, it needs to match up with the roll pin. And I'll show you how this works. Snap. There we go. Hence, SnapFoot. Then once, of course, you know, when they're attached to the leg, it'll be easier to take out, but then you just pull them out. And they give you 2 extra O-rings, you know, just in case. Now on the website and the instructions, it says you can use a little bit of, oh, I don't know, Vaseline or some type of lubricant like that. I would use probably a non-petroleum one to coat that O-ring to where they will go together a little easier, but in my opinion, you want the tension in there. So, there we go. Kind of hard to do that with it's not attached. So anyway, there you go. Now we're going to get to the installation here in a minute, but I want to go over some specs with you guys so you know. Now, specifically, this is designed, this particular one is designed for the Harris bipod. Okay, that matches Harris's dimensions to a T. And I could make a whole nother video on why KNS did the Harris bipod specifically, but we'll say that for another day. Now, I did spend quite a bit of time on the phone with KNS Precision about these, so a good portion of what I'm going to tell you is coming from them precisely. So, alright, now let's get to some technical notes and then we'll get to the installation. Okay, now let's take a minute and we're going to go over some specs here. Now, this is directed mainly for you Harris style bipod owners. Now, where again, this particular kit is designed for, this particular one is designed for the Harris bipod, which I have here. This is the Harris Lite. Okay, I also have a Caldwell, which runs in the neighborhood of about 35 bucks, I think. The Harris Lite runs normally, I think, around 80. If I remember right, I actually got this one on sale from Midway USA. They had a deal on it. I think I paid $59 for it. You know, I had $59 for a Harris. I couldn't pass it up. And then this one is a VC or CV Life off of Amazon. These run about $20–25. Come with their own bolt-on adapter. You know, pretty rugged and about as budget-minded as you can get. So just kind of keep that in mind. That's why I'm using 3 different ones here. So the Harris bipod, like I said, this is what this kit is designed for. Now, your adapters are specifically designed for this bipod. And I'm just going to slip it on here. So this goes around your outer leg right here when the bipod comes up, when your legs come up. The inside in there, hopefully you can see it, the way it's machined out. Okay, fits over the leg and then retains the spring there so they pop out. Now for you people that have the bipods where the spring is located in the leg itself to snap it back, the instructions do cover how to do that. So because some of Harris's bipods do that, and they usually have the little knobs that you can tighten down. So, but as you can see, and now the fit on this is, I mean, extremely tight. I mean, they designed this specifically for this leg. Okay, so now the Harris style bipods. Now, I did this on my own. They do not have this on the website because of how I'm going to use aftermarket type bipods, Harris style bipods, differ from manufacturer to manufacturer. And you're going to find out what I'm talking about here because I'm going to go over the specs. But there are just subtle differences in the legs of the CV Life and the Caldwell compared to the Harris. Now your dimensions on your leg adapter, okay, the diameter inside there is 0.377 inches. Okay, your distance from the bottom of it to the top of your pinhole is 233 inches, 0.233 inches, so 23,300, if you will, depending how you want to read it. So that is your base, as close as I can come, that is your base measurements for your adapter. So keep that in mind, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, the dimensions on the Harris leg, the diameter is 0.375. So you have roughly 200 thousandths of an inch. That's why they fit so tight. Now also the dimensions on the Harris, from the bottom of the leg to the top of the roll pinhole, is at 224 inches. Okay, so remember, the inside depth of this is 0.233 inches, so you have a lot of room in there. Okay, so remember the dimensions on this. Now, the Caldwell, which is the closest to the Harris, the leg diameter is 0.370. Okay, so 500 thousandths smaller than the Harris. And I'll slip this on so you can, but you can, hopefully you can hear that. There's just a little bit of play in there. It's still functional, but just a little bit of play, so there'll be a little rattle. Okay, now the distance from the end of the leg to the top of the roll pin hole is 0.231. Again, 0.233 is your dimension in here. So you have plenty of room. Now on the CV Life bipod, which is, like I said, about as budget minded as you can get. Now the diameter on the leg is 0.368 inches. And slipping this on, you can feel it, yeah, there's a lot of room in there. So it is much smaller, even though to the Caldwell, to the Harris. And remember, these are designed for the Harris. The distance on the CV Life foot from here from the end of the leg to the top of the roll pin is 0.31. So actually a little longer than the Caldwell, and also longer than the Harris, but 0.231, 0.233. So as far as lengthwise, it'll fit in there, but it's also a lot looser. So basically, for you Harris style bipod owners, okay, if you're interested in one of these kits, you need to take your rubber foot off, and you need to take a set of calipers or borrow a set, whatever, and measure those dimensions. So if they fall under 0.377 inches and 0.233 inches, these kits will fit your bipod. Now, KNS doesn't have this on their website because of the fact, again, the differences, as I've already shown, in the Harris style bipods that are out there, or your budget bipods if you want. I mean, come on, I mean, a CB Life at 20-25 bucks compared to the normal price on a Harris Lite, which is 80 bucks. So, but anyway, after getting this kit, I wanted, being I had access to a couple of you know, budget bipods, I wanted to find out if they would fit. So, you know, I hope my friends over at KNS Precision don't mind me doing this, being this is specifically for the Harris, but it will also fit your aftermarket, if you will. I just use that term, bipods or budget bipods, if they fall within those dimensions. So I just wanted to do this so you guys out there with the Harris style bipods and some of the other bipods like the M-Lock one, X Ages I think is another one. That's a really cool bipod for M-Lock. It hooks onto the side of your handguard, which is really cool. I wish I could get my hands on one of those to get the dimensions on the leg, because if these would fit, that'd be really cool for that particular bipod. But anyway, so that gives you an idea of what to go by if you're thinking about getting one of these for your non-Harris, you know, bipod, or Harris style bipod, or budget bipod, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, I hope that keeps your interest. So let's get to the installation. Okay, just real quick, I thought I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. We're going to get to the installation, but I went ahead and wrote down the dimensions. So if you're curious about your particular bipod, just pause the video and write those numbers down, and you should be able to figure out whether yours are going to fit. This is the Harris, this is the CB Life, and this was the Caldwell, and this is your leg adapter. So I hope it helps. Okay, one other technical note I forgot to add, I'm sorry, as to the roll pins. Okay, now KNS designed these specifically again for the Harris bipod. So on your Harris style bipods, the holes for the pin may be a little different. Okay, they could be smaller or they could be bigger. Now, because I wanted to show you this, this is the CB Life I've got on here, and let me grab the punch and show you how basically, I mean, these almost push out by hand. So I'm going to show you this real quick. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Now see, that roll pin fits in there pretty loosely, and I noticed this the other day. I drove them in there, so that's one of the major issues you're going to have to be careful with. See that on the Caldwell, I can push this in by hand without a punch. The CV Life, I can just get it started. I mean, where on the Harris, these are definitely going to have to get pounded in. Anyway, that's another major thing you need to look for on your Harris style bipods. Now there is a way, it's not that difficult to, I've done this before on the roll pins. If it does fit kind of loosely, you can put the roll pin in, you can put the adapter in. And if it is loose in there, this is the Harris, I didn't have to do that. But what you can do is once you got the roll pin in there, you could take like a nail or a smaller punch and you can flare out your roll pins. Okay, so it will sit in there. But anyway, it's just really important, and I apologize I forgot that back in the other comparison. So something also to keep in mind. Okay, now for the installation on your bipod. So of course, you know, take it off your rifle. That's a no-brainer. So you will need a bench block or a piece of wood. I think I have one over here that I used to use for trigger guards. Something like that will work. So on the instructions, they actually use a round bench block. So I had the Wheeler Deluxe AR one. So if you have this block, this part right here designed for the upper receiver is the spot you want to use. So now for the sake of the video, I did take the original pin out and replaced it with a shorter pin, because Harris puts these in so they don't come out. I had to use a 2-pound maul, and it took me like 10 minutes to pound this out of there. So just for the sake of the video, I put a shorter pin in there so I can show you faster how to do this. So, okay, put it on there. Again, if you have the bipod with the spring in the leg, there is a section in the instructions on what to do. Basically, you need to get a piece of wire and pull the spring back and secure it so you can get the tension off this, but never did like those. Okay, so basically you just take now that is an 1/8 inch pin, so you can use a regular 1/8 inch punch or a little smaller, or an 1/8 inch roll pin punch. And this is a Wheeler punch, by the way. And yeah, before anybody asks, don't buy these cheap ones. They're junk. So, okay, we've taken our pin out. Take that. Let's get the roll pin out of there. We're going to put the adapter on now. So you have your little bag here. And I may have to cut the video. I should have took this out sooner. So, but okay, we're going to dump those out. So you're going to take your pin, one of your adapters, put it on the end. Like I said, it's for the Harris. It will fit very tightly. Now these roll pins are 1/8 inch by 9/16 roll pin, in case you're curious on that. Just make sure I got that where it needs to be. Take your punch. Okay. it's not rolling on me. And it just doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. I'm going to use my roll pin punch here, even though it's junk. Alright, check your other side. There you go. Now, let's see. I'm going to grab a claw foot here. So now you have that installed. They still pop out like they're supposed to. And then we're going to go ahead and put our adapter on there. Snap. And there you go. So, and then to pull it out, you just pull it out. It takes a little bit. So now we're going to go ahead and put our rubber foot back on our rubber foot adapters. That's what the extra roll pins are for. Okay, and getting this lined up. There we go. So, and we're going to want to do this. So, okay. Take a roll pin. Now you could use your original pin if you want to. There we go. And use our roll pin punch. Now these are a little shorter, so you can either just put it in one side, it's in the foot, or you can drive them in till they're equal on both sides if that's what you want to do. There. So there's your rubber foot. So if you want to keep these, then you just pop them on. Just like that. And then you can keep your rubber foot. It will add just a little bit of length to the leg, so just so you know that. Okay. Now I want to touch on one other technical note real quick, so be right back. Okay, one more little quick inside note that I particularly found now on the posable feet. Now these are the ones that are going to give you more, contact or surface contact. Now these are anodized aluminum, so depending on the surface, they may be, have a tendency to slide around a little bit. Now that could be easily fixed however you want to do. You could use something like one of these little cushioned rubber skid tabs if you wanted to. Personally, I'm going to go with a piece of skid tape. This is that, kind of, you see it on steps and equipment and stuff for traction. And I actually cut a piece out here and stuck it on the bottom. You could glue it if you wanted to, but I'm just going to go with the factory adhesive, so if I ever have to replace it. But that'll give you, a little rougher surface, so it won't slide so easy once, with the weight of your rifle. So just thought I'd throw that out there that, that's what I was doing with these. Okay. Okay, just one more little item, and then we'll get to the closing. Because I know somebody's going to most likely bring it up of, oh great, I've got to carry extra stuff with me, and, what do you do? Well, you could find one of those little pull string, bags that different things come in, or you can get you something like this to carry them in. 98 cents at a craft store, or unfortunately Commie Mart, but so, and it fits everything pretty good. And who knows, this becomes popular enough, maybe somebody will actually make kind of a Tacta-Cool case for it, molded for everything. So, but anyway, just in case anybody was wondering, this is how you could carry the extra feet, and you'd even have room for, put a baggie in there for your extra O-rings or extra roll pins or what have you. So, I mean, it is possible. Like I said, 98 cents. Well, there you have it, my friends. A look at the installation, some technical notes of the new SnapFoot Quick Change Modular Bipod Kit from KNS Precision. Now, I want to go over a few things here in the end. So, if for you Harris style bipod owners, if you made it this far in the video, pay close attention to those specs that I put earlier in the video. Go by those. You should be alright. Again, KNS doesn't advertise that they fit other bipods for basically technical reasons because of the variations in those aftermarket style bipods or Harris style bipods. Saying that like beating a dead horse. Anyway, so pay very close attention to those specs. If you're interested in them, make sure that your bipod falls in those specs. When I got this, and it was specifically, again, for the Harris bipod, I had talked with KNS Precision, and that's pretty much what they told me. There's so many variations in those other bipods. I mean, there's no, quote, mil specs to go by in the bipod world, you know. And some of them are made overseas, some of them are inconsistent as to their, you know, measurements. I mean, come on, we all know how cheap stuff is made. So, I want to put this out there for you other bipod owners. That's why I can't emphasize enough to check those specs on your bipod before you consider buying one of these for your Harris style bipod. You Harris bipod owners, run with it. They're really awesome. But now, in talking with KNS Precision, they have outstanding customer service. Okay, but dealing with returns, it's really tough, guys. I mean, I work in the industry. You know, if there's something wrong with it, that's a different story. You take it back, you look at it, you figure out what's wrong with it, and you scrap it, you write it off. Because somebody doesn't pay attention to specs and they buy one and it doesn't fit and you want to send it back, it makes it difficult for the company. Not saying that they won't honor their return policy, but I'm just saying it is designed for the Harris bipod. So if you have one of the other bipods, you know, take it for what it's worth. They're really cool. I am going to get a second set for my Caldwell, the CB Life. That's a friend of mine's bipod, and I just borrowed it because I wanted to see what the difference in the specs were. So, to give you guys an idea what to go for. So, I hope it helps. And again, please pay attention to those specs if you don't own a Harris bipod. Okay? Now, I'm going to put the link in the description below. When you go to their website, the cover picture or the picture you're going to see, I think I'm going to probably have it in the slideshow at the end, you'll see a red anodized set. Don't bother asking KNS if you can order one of those. That it was their display model, so to speak, okay? These are a brand new product, and that red anodizing costs a lot more than the black does, okay? So that's why they did it for their display models. If these things take off, one never knows. I talked with KNS Precision. You know, if you know, they can't keep, if they get orders in that they're going out faster than they can make them, they may consider it. They may consider a custom, you know, tab or something to where you can order them, but they need to get so many together to make it worthwhile, you know. And I mean, if you know anything about retail or, you know, the industry, you know what I'm talking about. You know, the demand has to be there to justify the cost. So, you know, for the time being, don't ask them if you can order those, because you can't. Maybe in the future, who knows? So, you know, and talking with KNS Precision, they told me they do have in the works some other optional feet for them that you could order, you know, but I mean, that's down the road. They've got it on the table, they're working on them. So, but again, the main thing is how well these take off, you know. If you get a set and you're like, hey, that's awesome, and you order 2 more sets for your other bipods, you know, it's easier to do stuff the more you sell. It's that simple. Now, the other thing I want to touch on, because I know somebody's going to make a comment about it in the down below, is the cost. Okay? These aren't exactly cheap. They're cheaper than some of the other bipods out there that have feet available. So, if you have a $30 bipod, you have to make that decision whether you want this and you want the ability to change the feet for different shooting situations. You have to make that decision, okay? And I normally don't throw out a price, but the ones for the Harris are 75 bucks. Okay, so you have to make that decision. Now, like I said, these are just starting off. If it gets to the point, again, that they're, you know, they're flying out the door faster than they can make them, they may come down in price. Because you get, you know, you guys know how it works. I mean, if you're ordering the material for 1,000 of them, you're going to pay this price. If you're going to order the material for 10,000 of them, you can cut that cost. You know, the more you buy, the cheaper they get. So, for right now, the starting cost on them is what it is. So, again, you'll have to make that decision yourself. You know, so just be mindful of it, okay, guys? I mean, you know, you have to make that decision. So, anyway, I'm pretty tickled with them. As far as, I've been thinking for a long time it'd be kind of cool to have other options, especially with the posable feet, you know, shooting on a bench, because the rubber feet only have that small point of contact. So, now for you, some of you other bipod owners, being the Magpul and the Atlas, which is the one I was saying you need to take a loan out to buy, they also make these kits. So, you know, just wanted to let you know they are available for the Magpul bipod and the Atlas. So, check their website. Again, I'll put the description, or I'll put the link in the description below. Sorry about that. So, you know, as always, with the stuff coming out of KNS Precision, I think they're awesome, and it's about time that somebody actually thought about something for the bipod other than mounting systems. So, I think that about wraps it up, guys. As I like to say, when precision counts, get precise with KNS Precision. Till next time, my friends, target on.